Steve Jobs once said, "Your time is limited. Don't waste your time living someone else's life." The information in this speech is relevant to those who are struggling with wanting to live someone else's life. I'm going to be talking about how to overcome the struggle of watching someone else's life rather than your own. Throughout my entire life, I have always struggled with becoming too tangled up with someone else's success. I was constantly comparing myself to others by seeing how they were doing. I realized that oftentimes I became too caught up in someone else's successes and their life rather than my own. It took many months, but eventually I overcame this struggle. The best way to get through these struggles is through using tunnel vision, having perseverance, and utilizing your faith. The first point is utilizing your faith. Maintaining focus on your life is one of the biggest struggles in realizing that we were all on different paths. Everyone will not always move forward at the same pace in life, and seeing someone jump leaps and bounds ahead of you can leave you very, very discouraged. You're not going to be the same as everyone else you come across. The struggle of life sometimes is harder for others. It is just a part of life to have to struggle more than others in order to achieve the same goal. Life is just simply not fair sometimes, and while it is discouraging, it is the truth. It will become easier for others to get places than you, but sometimes that is all a part of the plan. The hardest things in life teach you the biggest lessons. God has a plan for each and every one of our lives. So getting caught up in someone else's plan will not only ruin your faith, but also your future. The race of life is truly a one-man race. Do not get caught up in racing others to get to a finish line that is non-existent. In horse racing, the horses wear blinders that block out the peripheral vision so that they maintain focus on the end goal and race against themselves rather than others. Everyone's going to arrive to different goals at different times. So don't let someone else's future define your own. Out of the second point, having perseverance. Thinking that you're always going to have to be perfect in order to achieve your goals that you have set for yourself is very misleading. Thinking that you're never going to make mistakes in life will tear you down when you mess up. It will leave you hopeless of ever getting back and moving forward with your life. Messing up is just part of being a human. A great way to think about this is the basis of the Bible. The Bible teaches that we were all sinners. And no matter what, it is our human nature to sin and mess up. We're never expected to be perfect in anything that we do, but what we are expected to do is persevere through those struggles. In Paul's letters to the church of Galatia, in the book of Galatians, Paul encourages them to stick through the tough times in order to get to the good times. There will be tough times during our life, but what will allow you to overcome the struggle of watching other people is to persevere when you get discouraged about not being good enough or not being fit for the plan that you have chosen for yourself. You have to persevere through the tough times. Now to point 3, utilizing your faith. Losing sight of your own path can relate back to a lack of faith. Having no trust that you are going to be watched over oftentimes is the case. Constantly doubting if God is actually with you, or if you've just been told that He is a huge misconception today. Is that when bad things happen, it's God's fault and we need to give up on Him. Faith is simply the absence of fear. So constantly fearing what someone else is doing has no faith in it. Faith is one of the strongest ways to overcome any struggle in your life, especially ones that involve fear. If you're trusting the plan that God has placed you on, then you couldn't care less about what other people are doing. You become focused on what God has planned for you and not what you have planned for yourself. Fear can be one of the biggest blocks on your path. No matter what may happen, the end will never be 100% certain. And that can cause you to fall off. Faith is most likely one of the most important ways to overcome the struggle of watching someone else's life. Faith conquers all uncertainty of the future. In life, the hardest things to overcome is becoming worried about where someone else is instead of your own. If you learn how to turn on your tunnel vision, have perseverance, and strong faith, you will not become swallowed by the task of achieving someone else's goals because you realize that you don't have to. And I'll end with this quote. Those who blindly follow in the footsteps of others will never see their own path. Live up to your own potential, not to someone else's.